Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline.
And Adam.
For Pixie Dust PhD. So as we've said before, we've been pretty lucky to go to the theme parks pretty regularly this past year, which has been awesome. But I have definitely noticed sort of an uptick in not the best behavior from the guests.
Sometimes you're at Disney, or really any theme park for that matter, but it's especially pervasive at Disney where people think it's like their own house.
Yeah, so, I mean, we don't frequent the theme parks. We don't go multiple times a year. We don't even go yearly, usually. So certainly it's a little bit hard for us to say compared to people who go dang near daily. But, you know, we've been going fairly regularly since 2015 or so, and I just do think that it's gotten worse. So we're going to talk about some of our biggest pet peeves from other guests in this video. If you're interested, please stay tuned, and I'd love to hear what some of your biggest pet peeves are in the comments down below. We really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like the video, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. You can ring the bell icon to receive updates whenever we upload new videos. So getting into those less than savory interactions, a big category for me is hygiene. So I think it's always been a problem where people don't really wash their hands seriously. Certainly in 2015, 2017, I noticed it. But you know, now that we're in the now times, it's a little sadder when you go to the bathroom and just see people walk out or just like rinse their hands under water really quick and then leave. And I'm like, really? Have we learned nothing? And then aside from hand washing, which like, I don't like it when it happens, but at least that person leaves the restroom. I go my way. Hopefully I never see them again. But when you're stuck, or even if you're not stuck, when you're in an area that's like not a restroom. So if you're eating or if you're in a line for a ride and people change their children there because it's more convenient for them to change their diaper there and they have their little diaper mat and like the whole kit and caboodle ready to go. But instead of going to somewhere where that's more acceptable, like if you're changing your child on a table that's meant for food consumption, I take issue with that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what people will do just for what's convenient to them in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
To say the least.
Yeah. So one thing that really gets on my nerves is when people are just constantly staring at their phones and not paying attention where they're walking. So like whether that's they're texting or they're looking at My Disney Experience, but they are just completely oblivious to the world around them. Sometimes they even stop in the middle of Main Street for no reason at all because they're just so engrossed with their phone and not aware that, hey, we're here trying to go somewhere. You need to be more aware. Anyway, it's just like one of those little pet peeves that never fails to make me a little angry.
Yeah, the not being aware of your surroundings, I think a lot of that is caused by the phone. And I know if you're using Genie Plus, you like have to be on your phone. Yeah. But I mean, look up while you're doing it, look where you're going or pull off to the side. And like Adam said, when people just stop. So if you're like walking down Main Street, everyone's walking, especially, crowded times, rope drop, or just generally in the morning. And then people will just like, bam, stop to take a picture. And I'm like, I'm 1 foot behind you or however far, you know what I mean? Like just keep moving. Yeah. This is not your personal theme park. Like there's a bunch of other people around you. It's a little bit dangerous to not pay attention. Sort of related to being aware of your surroundings, but this is more of an annoyance and there's no real danger. But I really dislike when people are sort of loudly talking about spoilers for the ride they're in the queue for.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's really rude because you never know whose first time it is. And especially with a bunch of kids, like maybe they just hit the height limit. A lot of people I think are more conscious about brand new rides, being a little more respectful about that for the first 6 months or whatever. But even if it's Haunted Mansion, like you don't need to relay the whole story before we even get in the ride. Or if you really need to talk about it with your party, just stand a little closer together, use more hushed tones. You can text about it. Like talk about it elsewhere, like not in the queue for that ride. And then following the queue annoying, it seems to always be the same people who also will like recite the narration of the pre-show. It's like, just let me enjoy the ride how it's supposed to be. I don't need to hear you. You can do that in your living room at home. Like, be quiet.
Yeah, definitely don't spoil other people's own experience, right? And that can be also true for like when you see families like sometimes like force their kids to go on rides that they don't want to. It's super uncomfortable. Don't do that.
Yeah, I think it's totally fair. Kids maybe don't make up their mind until right they're about to load. And if they say like, I don't want to go, like please don't force them to go. It's bad for everybody.
Yeah, especially Mission Space Mars.
Yeah.
if they want to opt out, go on Earth.
Tower of Terror too, just like take the L. If you're with a big enough party, you can do child swap. Like there's ways you can still experience it and not literally force your kid who's like crying onto this ride.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those kids on Haunted Mansion, 5 years old. Like, this is too scary for me.
I don't remember this, but when we went to Disneyland the first time, I was 6, and we stood in the line for Indiana Jones, and I have an older sibling, so they went, and I didn't want to go the whole time, and then I like freaked out at the, like right at load. My mom still hates me for that, but like, I didn't want to go.
Yeah, don't cause a huge scene and ruin everyone's vibe or time at Disney by forcing, someone in your party to do something they don't want to do at Disney.
Yeah.
You're there to have a good time. It's a magical place. Don't ruin the magic.
Another thing about lines that I think we can all agree is just like the worst is the people who cut all the time on purpose. Someone did this at Disneyland when we were there recently for Peter Pan, which of course is a very long line. And the ride went down and then they left the line and I like cheered in my heart. But I mean, I know they're just gonna go cut another line, but like at least you didn't get it this time. Jeez.
Yeah, that was like very frustrating. I was giving that person the stank eye.
Oh, everyone was complaining about them. Like we all saw it happen. And I understand why cast members don't like really intervene because it could put them in a dangerous situation and you don't want to like escalate anyone's, fiery side. But it is just so frustrating. And like this was an adult male, like fully capable of understanding the line situation. It wasn't like a parent taking a child to go to the bathroom and then coming back into line or whatever. Like, man, there's just no excuse for that kind of behavior.
You got my blood boiling a little bit thinking about that.
Guy was so rude.
Yeah. Well, at least he got his karma.
Yeah, once.
Once. I'll tell you though.
Another really unfortunate thing that I think sometimes is a genuine mistake, but there have been several times, especially in our past couple of trips, where it's obviously very on purpose, is people using their strollers as battering rams. I'm very uninterested in the constant, like, on my heels. And if I turn around and look at you and you frickin' smirk at me, like, I know exactly what's happening. Thank you so much. Yeah,
people just use their strollers like it's a weapon. And they also don't protect it very well either. So what really, you shouldn't be this person leaving your iPad and all of your valuables, your wallet in stroller parking while you go on a ride.
Yeah, obviously we've never stolen anything from a stroller, but it would be so easy to go through and collect the iPads. Like, try harder, you
Definitely,
guys.
The amount of iPads you can steal will definitely make up your day ticket. It's a really unethical life hack right there.
Also, this isn't something that bothers me, but just FYI, if you take a stroller to a park, if you leave popcorn in it, a squirrel's gonna come take your popcorn. So, watch your snacks. And my last big thing is a broad category, but I think it's well worth stating whenever I see guests basically raising their voice or berating cast members, like, what is your excuse for that behavior? It always comes down to that person basically screaming like, you have no idea how much money we spent to be here. Guess what? Everyone else also spent a ton of money. And whoever you're talking to, like, they probably don't even have the power or authority to change whatever it is you want. And do you really think that, like, yelling at them is gonna get you anywhere? I just don't understand the thought process behind that. And I don't think there is any. I think it's people being super selfish and rude.
Yeah, it's unbelievably frustrating when anyone takes out their feelings on a service or hospitality worker like that. It looks so bad and you should be ashamed.
Yeah, like, test track is down. Do you think screaming at the cast member standing at the front of the ride is gonna magically make it come back up? Like, absolutely not. So, I don't know. People feel so entitled when they're at Disney, I think because they have spent a lot of money, and I get that it's very expensive. That's the separate issue. But like, the cast members don't control the ticket prices. The cast members, especially the ones standing outside of attractions, aren't the ones like working to get a ride back online. They're not the reason it went offline. Or like, if it's an outdoor ride, which Test Track does have a significant outdoor portion, so it counts, and it's freaking raining super hard or there's lightning, like, they can't do anything. They can't control the weather. So the cast members are basically the best part of the Disney theme parks. I mean, they really make the magic. And for people to come down so hard on them just for like minor inconveniences and things that cast members have absolutely no control over, I think it's so childish, it's so rude, and it just is completely uncalled for.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, there's a time and a place to complain. Like if something goes wrong on your trip, you go to guest services, right? And you wait in that, sometimes long line, to get your situation resolved to the best of their ability. But, you know, again, that's go there and file a report, and they're going to work on it.
Complain nicely.
Yeah.
There's a proper way to do this where you lay out the issue.
They know things go wrong in a giant theme park.
Right. And sometimes things genuinely do go wrong, and guest relations cast members can, you know, help make that right or whatever. Like rides being down ain't it. Or like if you thought that you could just walk into a restaurant because, you know, you didn't make reservations, you're not a Disney person, you weren't prepared. Like,
or you're, you know, late for your Fast Pass or whatever.
Genie Plus now.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Your Experience Pass.
Right.
Lightning Lane. I'm dating myself over here.
Yeah. So it's just like, there are some things worth complaining about. I do think there's a proper way to do it. You typically are going to have to talk to guest relations, not just the general cast members, especially the attractions cast members. Or what do you think they're going to be able to do for you? It's just incredulous.
Yeah, be nice. Golden rule.
Right.
Please.
Right. And like, yes, you're on vacation, but they're at their job and they don't deserve to be verbally harassed just for going to work.
And you're making other people's vacation also worse.
It also gets super uncomfortable. There's a couple times when people like have started raising their voices and I'm nearby, you know, and you try to intervene a little bit, but sometimes when it's like the rage level, it's like, well, I don't feel safe intervening, but I feel very bad about that because now this cast member just has to stand there and also not feel safe. Yeah, overall, I think for most of these, it's really just about, yes, you're on vacation. Yes, you paid a lot of money. You want to have the time of your life. We totally get that and agree. But just be conscious that there's other people there too who are going through the exact same thing you are. They're also on vacation. They also paid a lot of money. Just try to be a little more aware of your surroundings and move through your vacation with kindness instead of entitlement.
Yeah, and you know, if you make a plan, these things probably aren't going to happen.
Well,
right?
There's always some things that go wrong, but
yeah. Minimize it, I guess.
Yeah, I think you can just try to roll with the punches and, you know, if things don't go perfectly, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, after all, you're in Disney, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Have fun.
Don't be a bummer.
My favorite is always it's usually a parent to a child, but sometimes it's adults to each other. They're like, we're in the most magical place in the world. You have to have fun. And I'm like, why are you screaming that right now?
I mean, I'm all about manifesting, but that's a little much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, we would love to hear some of your biggest pet peeves of other guest activities and or lack of activities, depending on the situation. Leave those in the comments down below. I think we could have talked about this for hours, but we tried to keep it, you know, high levels. That way it didn't take forever. And remember, even in really frustrating times on your vacation, try to just pause, take a breath, take a beat, collect yourself, and don't scream at cast members. We hope the rest of your day is magical. We'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.
Bye.